So we are live. Everyone, welcome to the Sin Bin. My name is Matt. I need to empty my pockets because my fucking khaki shorts are so fucking. Let me put the microphone in my face. I was just saying how tight my shorts were. So we are live to discuss Game 6 between, if you guys don't know because you've been living under a rock, between the St. Louis Blues and the Boston Bruins. Look at me, I'm all over the place. So Game 6, live review, Stanley Cup final. So excited about this. And let me just get things out of the way. The reason why I'm a little bit late is because I was driving. So for those of you new to the channel, which is probably a lot because I only have 52 fucking subscribers, but I watched a game at the sports bar. It's called Heroes. Relatively good atmosphere. I'll get to that a little bit later. Thank you. So I leave within 5 minutes left in the period about, and there was this fucking cat in the middle of the street that wouldn't get the fuck out of the way. And I try honking, and you think it would like get out of the way or something, but no. So I try to go around it, and guess what? It goes under my car. So anyway, the reason why I'm a little bit late is because I almost banged this cat with my car. Wouldn't be the first time I murdered pussy. Score one for me. Unfortunately, the Blues couldn't score in this game. That's unfortunate. But first, we need to get through the events as it happened in chronological order. I'm a big fan of chronological order. When I hear the word chronological, I pop a big old boner. So, pregame notes, I got none. Here's my fucking pregame note. The Bruins have to win. And I know that goes without saying because they're down 3-2, doy. But they really needed to play a big game. Rask needed to stand on his head. He did. Okay. Second thing I need to get out of the way. And this is something I hold to heart. Because when you go to a sports bar, nothing is preventing you to cheer for your team. You can be as loud as you want. Heck, I'll even say you can be as obnoxious as you want. Free country, freedom of speech, First Amendment, or whatever amendment it was. I don't even know what amendment stands for. It sounds like ammons. But you can do whatever you want. I had to sit in that bar. I had great seats. I was facing the TV directly in front of me. But I had to sit in that bar. These fuckings, I would say 10 or so Boston fans, they would cheer for, no kidding, a simple tape-to-tape pass. They would cheer me what I cheer when there's a goal. Hey, that's a little too much. But that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is Boston scores. This fucking idiot gets up, rips his shirt off. But that's still not what bothers me. What bothers me is that Boston is up 3-0. St. Louis finally gets a goal. And do you know what my celebration is? This. And I get the dirtiest stank eye. You could smell it from wherever you guys are watching this video. That fucking guy in the red V-neck probably listens to My Little Pony religiously, gives me the dirtiest fucking stank eye. And I look back at him, and we're having a staring competition for a good 30 seconds. What, you're allowed to rip your fucking shirt off? I can't clap? What is this bullshit? And I'm not saying every Bruins fan is like this. I'm not saying that. There are some good ones. But Jesus fucking Henry Christ. I'm clapping here. I get it. I brought attention to myself. I'm wearing a Blues jersey. But do you have to be that venomous? Kids, when you go out in public, don't act like that man. I'm going to call him My Little Pony Man because that's what he is. My Little Pony. This isn't a great start to this review. I almost bang a fucking pussy, and not in the good way. And then Joe Blow schmuck a-hole average Joe My Little Pony bastard is looking at me, giving me fucking dirty looks. Please. So, back to the game. So we're in the first period. Corrali gets a delay of game penalty. And if you guys ask me, Matt, my name's Matt, by the way. Hi, welcome to the channel. Matt, what's the penalty that you think is the most useless in sports? What's the penalty that if there was one penalty you had to remove, which one would it be? And for me, the answer is simple. It's delay of game. The delay of game, the reason why it's there is to prevent people, players who are under pressure, to just get rid of it and flip it over the glass and done. Excuse me. Wow, that projectile. Thousand Island dressing. So that's why it's in play. But if you look at it, 99.9% of the time, they're not doing it intentionally. But that being said, it's a penalty. It's fair game. You flip it over the glass, you're going to get penalized. And that's what happened to Corrali. And later in that period, this game for me, it was kind of a symphony of penalties. Penalties played a big part in this game. And and this should have been a key to the game, that Boston, if they're on the power play, if they don't capitalize, they're going to, at the very least, gain momentum from it, especially on the road. I think there's something crazy like 50% on the power play on the road. That's insane. And I alluded to before, maybe it was in my podcast, I don't fucking keep up anymore. I said it sucks for the Blues because they play such an in-your-face style of hockey. It almost goes without saying they're going to take some fucking penalties. So if you're a Blues fan, it sucks that the team you're taking penalties against has a 50% power play average. I mean, that's insane. So they get on a 5-on-3. And by the way, that Schenn penalty, you have no business taking that penalty. That is a horrible penalty. He was just looking at numbers all the way. And let me calm down a little. I'm fucking sweaty. My videos weren't clear enough, so I have this spotlight fucking flashing in my face. And of course, I'm all out of antiperspirant. So my armpits are fucking sweating like the Atlantic Ocean. It's like I have one arm has the Atlantic Ocean under it. The other one has the Pacific Ocean. And this hasn't been a great day. And in case you guys think I'm lying, I'm going to prove it. Look at that sweatage. This is fan sweat. You'll never meet a fan like me. Look how I'm sweating, guys. For some reason, my right arm is sweating way more than my left arm. Do you have anyone on YouTube sweating like this? Does the hockey guy sweat like this? I don't think so. I'm the fucking sweatiest guy on YouTube. No one can beat my sweat. No one can beat my hockey analysis. I fucking sweat for this YouTube channel. And I get a grand total of 0 views. I guess it could be worse. I guess it could be negative views. If that's a fucking thing. My hair's all over the place. I need a fucking haircut, but I'm too fucking cheap. Oy. So on that penalty, we're still at 5-on-4 at this point. Ryan O'Reilly got a golden opportunity to score. And if the playoffs were to finish tonight, hypothetically speaking, obviously, if they were to finish tonight, Conn Smythe there's 3 options. And there's one for me that definitely stands out amongst all of them. So there's Tarasenko. That's an option. There's the goalie Binnington. That's kind of a dark horse at this point, especially after this game, Oive. And then there's Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly has been playing some great friggin' hockey. I need to calm down on the F word. He's been playing some great friggin' hockey. And he almost scored on that penalty kill, but he fumbles the puck. And that sucks because later in that penalty, he takes a delay of game penalty. So lots of penalties going around. So Boston has a 5-on-3. And 5-on-3 in hockey, very, very hard to come away from it scot-free. Most of the times, a 5-on-3 means a goal. And that's what Marchand got. Marchand finally scores. And the Rat who's been playing like a ghost as of late finally gets a friggin' goal. And, it took a 5-on-3. It took an empty net on a 5-on-3. But if you're a Boston fan, you're friggin' getting the biggest boner of all time. Because that goal, I turned to my friend and I said, look out. Marchand's going to wake up now. And arguably, that's what happened. He went back to playing Marchand penalty, getting under the player's skin, playing some great hockey, using his speed, using his fucking nose. Hey, he's got a nose for the net. So Marchand scores, as I said. And okay, playoffs, it's all about the individual battles. We've seen a lot of individual battles. Near the beginning of the series, there's been that Blaze kid, Blaze, whatever he's called, against David Backes. He's cooled down, and David Backes out of the lineup. There was that Krug against Thomas, who was back in the lineup. One matchup that's been kind of underrated is Perron versus Chara. They've been going at it all series long, Perron and Chara has. And there was something that confused me. So Perron got a high sticking late in the first period on Chara. It wasn't called as a penalty, but his stick went up. And for those of you wondering, that wasn't a penalty. And the reason why that is because it was a follow through. What a follow through is that you're shooting the puck down on the other end. You're shooting the puck down, and your stick naturally rises in the motion that you're making your shot or your pass. And on that natural movement, you hit the guy in the face. Those are not penalties. It's a penalty if you blatantly swing it and say you don't have the puck and you swing it in someone's face, then it's a high sticking. So without a doubt, that was not a penalty. What I found weird was Chara giving it the old boo. The reason why I found it weird is because, hey, big man, you got a fishbowl in your face. If someone's supposed to hit the puck, this is your reaction. Look, that's it. None of this. Woo, woo. You're supposed to be the toughest guy in the league. Fucking can't get a stick on plastic. Makes him jolt his head back. So that was a little bit weird. And he later took a penalty against Perron. And those fucking fans, other end of the table, they're going crazy. So second period comes. 1-0 Bruins still. And I got to say, Rask, and if not this period, you can apply it to the whole game. Rask needed to be what Rask needed to be. Rask was great. I know as of late he's been a scapegoat for Bruins fan, but listen, he's been playing good. And no matter how Game 7 goes, no matter how it ends up, say the balloons win. Oh God. Say the Bruins. Take two. Say the Blues win Game 7. They have nothing to blame Rask for. Rask has played his best here. I see shades of Tim Thomas in 2011. And I say that, I know they have different styles. I say that more in reference to the effect they're having on their team. So, second period. And there's bitch number 1, Torey Krug. If people ask me, who's the player I hate the most on the Bruins? Most people would say Marchand. I don't like Krug. I don't know what it is about him. I don't know if it's his long spaghetti hair. I don't know if it's his punchable fucking face with those little whiskers he has. Ugh! I fucking hate Krug. So it's an icing. They blow the whistle. And there's this kind of code that goes without saying that once the whistle blows, it's the end of the play. You're not supposed to shoot the puck. You're not supposed to hit. You're not supposed to do any play after the whistle's blown. The refs blow the whistle. What does Torey Krug do? Throws a hit on the Blues player. So obviously, the other Blues player are going to come to the aid of their teammate. And I swear to God, gives him a little shot. And Torey Krug does the and falls down on the floor. The reason why I'm making a big deal out of this is because the Bruins are notorious. Jack Edwards is notorious. And again, this is objective. It's not my opinion. I can furnish clips to prove my point. Jack Edwards is notorious for calling out other teams when they dive. And I was watching NBC, but I would have liked to have heard Jack Edwards on that play because that was a dive. And it wasn't as blatant as a dive that there was going to call a penalty on it. But, hey, you're going to accuse every fucking team of diving. Look at your own team. Marchand is notorious for that. But I'm getting off topic. I'm starting to talk about my team, my history with the Bruins. I'm getting a little off topic. So let's see. So Marchand, he gets a slew foot penalty. Another very bad thing Marchand does, and mark my words, I will make a top 10 list of. I look like Donald Trump currently. I will make a top 10 list of the top shittiest plays Marchand has done. And at the top, if not in the top 3 or something, the slew foots. He did a really disgusting, and if there's one word in the English vocabulary to describe that, disgusting. He made a disgusting slew foot on, what was it, Pietrangelo? And that's going to happen one day. He's going to blow out a player's knee. He's going to end a career. It's a very dangerous play. Kids, when you play hockey, I know this goes without saying because most of you have common sense, but in case you're Marchand, don't slew foot players. It's a dangerous play. Second only to low bridging people on hit, which Marchand is also notorious for. So don't slew foot players. Thankfully, Pietrangelo didn't get injured on the play. Thankfully. But I was in the bar, and there's these obnoxious Bruins fan. Again, not all Bruins fans are obnoxious. I have a lot of Bruins fan friends. But they were like, hey, what's the penalty? What's the deal here? Oh my God, he slew foot the fucking Pietrangelo. It's textbook slew foot. Rule 69.9. I don't know if that's the actual number, but it's a definite rule. Not without a doubt a penalty. If you're going to be a fan of a team, you have to be completely objective. I started this review. I said that Schenn's penalty was a disgusting play. He saw numbers. He saw Nordstrom's 20 or whatever number he wears and just boarded him. That, by the way, boarding isn't as much as a black and white call as you may think. Sometimes a player is engaged in a hit, and at the last moment, the player he's about to hit turns around and he ends up boarding him. But in this play, Schenn, he just saw numbers the whole way. Nordstrom didn't move. He just boarded him. And I'm willing to call that a board. So, Boston fans, you need to call out Marchand slew foot. Because if you say that wasn't a slew foot, you're either blind or retarded or both. Because that was a slew foot. There was a very interesting play later in this game. It was a whistle or a commercial break or something. And credit to the NBC's cameras because they caught a certain play. So Bennington was skating to his bench, and it was the second period. So in order to get to his bench, he needs to pass through the Bruins bench first. And I think it was Krug, and I think it was Rask, and I don't know if there was another player, but they kind of gave him elbows and sticks and little shots as he went by. They're trying to get in his head. And at the beginning of the series, I went on a rant. I said, oof, we hit vomit, folks. Oh, I'm not feeling well. Chicken fries. So I went on a rant. I said, you can't get in Bennington's head. It seems like in tonight's game, the Bruins got in their head in his head. I was gonna say in his ass for some reason. They got in his head. Because if you look at the second goal, which I'm going to get to, if you look at the third goal, which I'm going to get to, if you're a number one goalie in the National Hockey League, those goals should not happen. They shouldn't. Especially that second one. I get it. It's a knuckleball. It was a knuckleball from the point. There was sort of a screen. He sort of got a piece of it. That shouldn't be a goal. If you're well positioned, you're squared to the puck. And if you look carefully at Bennington, that puck ended up going under his arm. The puck went under his arm, and I have sweat under my arm. Bennington got a puck under his arm. So we both have things under our arms. We have things in common, me and Bennington. So Yeah, Bruins trying to get in his head. I personally don't mind it. Is it the classiest thing to do? No. But this is an example of whatever it takes to win. Okay? Whatever it takes. They're trying to get in his head. And it seemed like for today's game, they did. Now there's McAvoy's trip on Tarasenko. Again, um, I could potentially see a world where that play wasn't called. I could potentially see it, but no problem calling that. It was a knee on knee. My friend brought up a great point. You're supposed to go hit square on the body, and he lost his man. So what did he do? He stuck out the knee. So it's a trip. But either way, 1-0. It's still 1-0, and we're going into the third period. And I remember thinking, man, it's the third period. I could see a surge happening for the St. Louis Blues. I could see a comeback, albeit a 1-goal comeback. But I don't think the Blues are dead. Now, what happens early in the third period? If I had to summarize it with one sound, it would be this. Garbage goal. I'm sorry. There's no sugarcoating it. You can't sugarcoat a shit. That was a shit goal. Okay? An NHL goalie cannot let that in, especially in a cup clinching game. I'm going to be hard on him because I love the kid. And I've been pumping his tires ever since he's played in this league. But Bennington, that cannot go in. And he'll be the first to admit that. He would be. And I expect a big game from Bennington. After losing a game, Bennington's record is phenomenal. It's 13-2. Now, while I'm on the topic, who do I think is going to win Game 7? What are my predictions? So, my initial thought, and it might change, but I'm giving it to the Bruins. Okay? The reason why it is, TD is a very hard building to play in. But now that I think about it, I said my opinion may change. Who knew it would be seconds later? But it's a very hard building to play in. It seems like in the series, it hasn't been a homer series in the sense that the away team has played significantly better. Like, look at tonight. It's in St. Louis. Bobby Hull comes on. And I remember thinking, Bobby Hull's there. Blues are going to win. He's their lucky charm. I don't know if I would use the word charm to describe Brett Hull. I may have said Bobby Hull, my bad. Brett Hull, but yeah, he gets the crowd going, and St. Louis came out strong, but the Blues ended up coming on top. Game 5 in Boston, St. Louis comes out on top, and then the first 2 games were split. So it seems to be a reverse homer series. It seems to be a visitor series. I personally think that home ice advantage is kind of overrated. I know I hear a lot of people saying, you need to work hard during the season because you need home ice advantage when the playoffs come. Whatever. For me, home ice advantage, it doesn't mean anything. It could be shit ice advantage. It's the same thing. For me, it doesn't mean anything. If you guys are listening, if you're in the chat, if you have any comments, concerns, you want to write a comment, you want to say like that I look like a washed up Max Pacioretty who's overweight and sweatier and drunker, that's fine. That's fine. So 2-0. And let me say, there's still a lot of hockey to be played. A 2-0 lead in hockey, it's not like a 2-0 lead in soccer, or as the Europeans call it, football. It's not. Hell, it's hard to even get 2 goals in soccer. Okay. A 2-goal lead in hockey is very, I wouldn't say easily, but it's possible, it's probable to surmount it. So 2-0, still a lot of hockey to be played. Um, Blues fans, you're probably, you're feeling down, but still a little optimistic. You know, you don't want to fucking end the night on a bad note. At least work hard so that can transfer on to next game. End it on a good note, pun intended. But then we get the 3-0 goal. And I forget who did it. It was 83. I don't recall that player. Was he a late addition? Or I don't know. 83 for Boston scored. And I get it was a well-placed shot. I get that it had a lot of velocity, a lot of accuracy. But again, there was no screen. I sort of expect Bennington to save it because Rask has been saving those all night long. Imagine how it must feel. Blues outdid the Bruins in terms of scoring chances all game long. And you imagine being Bennington where you're watching that and you're sitting there and you barely broke a sweat because you're not getting any shots on you. It kind of sucks. And I've heard it in interviews multiple times by former goalies. They want to receive shots. They want to see a lot of shots in the game. Oh, Thousand Island dressing. So it must suck for Bennington seeing Rask on the other end, saving left and right. However, he couldn't save all of them because Ryan O'Reilly finally cuts the deficit to 2. And this goal wasn't as clear cut as you guys might think. In fact, it required instant replay video review. But it was clear cut that the puck, upon review, definitely crossed the red line. And the way to determine if it's successfully crossed the red line is you look to see between the puck and the red line. If you can see a little bit of white, that means the puck is crossed. As long as you don't see some white between the puck and the red, then it's a no goal. But in this case, it was a goal. I want to believe that they rewinded the time because play had continued after Ryan O'Reilly shot that puck. But just a testament of how good Rask has been. He almost saved that. And my voice is going up. It's the puberty. But he almost saved that. And that would have been a highlight reel save. So Rask hasn't thrown the towel. He's a good goalie. He doesn't get enough credit. Has he ever won the Vezina? Let's check it out. Rask, Vezina. I believe so. So Tuukka Rask, let's see. I can't fucking find it. I can't research shit. The only thing I can successfully research is porn. Tuukka Rask, Vezina. Let me Wikipedia it. Rask. Yeah, so Rask did win the Vezina in 2013. That seems like an eternity ago. Followed by Carey Price, Braden Holtby, Bobrovsky, and Rene. So Vezina is given to the best goalie. For those of you out there who ain't familiar with the trophies. And for me, trophies don't mean crap. The most important trophy is the Stanley Cup. Maybe followed by the Conn Smythe. Or not maybe, definitely followed by the Conn Smythe. And then Pastrnak makes it 4-1. And unfortunately, I didn't see the 5-1 goal because I was driving home. Was it 5-1? Yeah, I didn't 5-1. Didn't see it. I was driving home. So, hey, listen. If you're like me, where you're kind of indifferent to both teams, of course I'm a Canadiens fan. You don't want to see the Bruins win, yada yada yada. To be honest, I could give a shit. They could win. Drunk people can rip their shirts off in bars. How's that affecting me? I don't like to see naked men, though. That I will admit. Like, your team scores, you rip your shirt off. I get a face full of man boobs. Hey, I don't need to see that. I already have man boobs. I don't need to see an extra pair. fucking waving his chicken breasts in my face. I can't even fucking clap. I get dirty stares. Oh boy. I swear to God, I would have put my shoe right up that guy's ass. And my shoes are brown, so it wouldn't have appeared on my shoe. The shit. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. So I think I'm gonna end it here. We went for a half hour. Not bad. I know there's people in and out of the chat. Not too many people in the chat today. That's probably a product of me being late because there's a fucking cat fiddling in front of my car. So, game 7. Oh, I was going to say, if you're indifferent, you just want to see as much hockey as possible. And I'm very happy that there's a game 7. I am. We get to see more hockey. And all I need is for game 7 to go to overtime. Imagine how intense that will be. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. No matter what team wins, I just want to see it go to quadruple overtime. And we get a Bobby Orr goal part 2. Maybe this time it's Torrey Krug goes flying in the air. Then rams his head first in the boards. All right, so I'm kind of running out of gas. I wasted a lot of gas talking about fucking these people in bars giving me dirty looks and fucking pussies running from my car. So on that note, I hope you appreciate this review. I hope you learned some things. I hope you maybe got a chuckle. I'm not claiming to be a stand-up comedian, but if you laughed at my face, I guess I made you laugh in a way. So I hope you got a lot out of this video. I hope you had some fun. I hope you liked my analysis, my deep analysis, I might say. And if you haven't already, and if you think I deserved it, please hit a like, maybe even subscribe. I would appreciate it. Heck, maybe I can get enough subscribers to get monetized one day. Yeah, that would be pretty cool, right? Get a little bit of dough, start my own sports bar, where fucking Bruins fans aren't giving me dirty looks. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please leave a comment. Anything I said which you disagree with. I realize this is the longest outro of all time, but I like to milk it. I like to milk many different things in life, including outros. So please leave a like if you agree with something, if you disagree with something, if you want to say that I look like if Carey Price and Max Pacioretty have an overweight love child who got hit by a bus, go for it. Okay? Just subscribe, like. My name is Matt again, signing off.